hello. Welcome to a very special edition of Chop Talk that is influenced by NJPW Pro Wrestling Review and influenced by Stardom Review. It is the Andre and Melball Best of 2023 edition of Chop Talk. I am your co-host, Andre C. And right over here, the woman I would never replace with AI, it's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
Never replaced with AI. What is happening in the world that I need to be concerned about now? That is upon us. Are the
I'm just saying.
Transformers invading? What is going on?
I'm just saying. I would never. Do that.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I am doing great, Andre. I'm excited for this show. We have a
Yeah,
lot
me
of
too.
amazing talents to talk about. Had a good day, had a back day. It was nice. I got to take the tape off of my tattoo stuff. Now they don't look gross anymore.
Well, that's a huge positive. Being able to take the tape off.
It is. It, it is. It feels good. It looks nice. They're colorful now. Now they're just itchy as hell. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Been a little bit under the weather the last few days. It was super cold today, so I canceled my trip into the city to train with Rich King. Canceled that yesterday because I knew I didn't want to be driving all the way into downtown Edmonton in minus 38. It would have been around the time when I went out. Yeah, no, thank you. Just no, thank you. I'm going. I'll see him again next week. I'm getting my regular workouts in. We're good. We're good.
As long as you're getting your regular ones in still, that is good. I still made the trek, and despite parking close to the door, I still froze my butt off going from the car to the door. It's like 15 feet. I don't understand. Why do we live here?
Pure happenstance and crazy people who trekked across this country at one point.
I was going to say because it kills the freaking bugs, but okay, you had to go sentimental on it.
I don't know. I'm crazy. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk the best of 2023. But before we did, I want to thank each and every one of you. We very much appreciate all the great support you have given us all through 2022, all through 2023, and now into 2024. So thank you all very, very much. I want to please keep saying thank you. Please keep liking the video, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below, especially the comments. We love talking to you guys. It's probably one of the best parts about this is getting to communicate with you guys about all the wonderful professional wrestlers out there. Please keep sharing us out and hit the notification bell so you alert every time we drop a new video, just like this one.
Ding dong.
It's too cold to open the door.
The door might break trying to open it.
And the fact that I had to go out today to get groceries, and it was just like, it sucked.
My dog has not gone outside in 2 days because every time I open the door for him, he just kind of goes, nope. That's going to be a pass.
Yeah. At this point, you might just let him poop on the floor. You never know.
It's not like I can stop him at this point.
Yeah, you can't be mean to the little guy, but though we are here, yes, to talk our best of 2023. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna kick it off in the Chop Talk category, as I like to call it, the best of the Alberta independent indie scene, because that's where me and Melball hit up. That's what we talked about on Chop Talk. So it's just the Chop Talk division of it all. So
The
we're
Chop
gonna
Talk division.
we're going to kick it off with our favorite special guests of the year. These are the people that Top Talent, RCW, Love Wrestling, who they're our favorites that they were brought in this year. So we're going to kick it off with Melball's picks.
Oh, my picks. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed seeing Tom Lawler. It was really cool to just kind of chat with him a little bit about the crossover show. You got a nice picture with him. That was a lot of fun. Seeing Effie wrestle, I mean, I hadn't really seen a whole ton of him before he'd started coming to Top Talent. Now he's like such a treat and treasure to see. I love seeing him, and every time he comes, he's got like a drastically different look. He's like the Julia of LGBTQ. I think is how they say it. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I absolutely love seeing him, especially his like bedazzled fishnets. They give me life. I want a pair so badly. But also Chris Bay. You and I met him. That was a lot of fun. Really nice guy. Chatted us up a little bit, signed an autograph for our good friend, the Omen fan. Really, really great match against Soy Boy, son of Irish there. Frick was at a good match. And holy crap, seeing Soy Boy get that win over Chris Bay, too. Yeah, I was very proud. It was a very fun.
Yeah, it was awesome to meet all those guys. So like, I'll admit, like Chris Bay's and Iris's match was on my contender for Indie Match of the Year, but I didn't quite go that way, and we'll get there. But we're gonna go to my 3 picks, and 2 of them I'm crossing over with you, Melball. It's I took all 3 of the pictures I took with these guys and put them in. Tom Lawler, I have been on the Filthy Train forever. I was a big fan of this guy when he was an MMA fighter. Just getting to meet him was just an honor to meet the guy, and he was so nice and such a good dude that it was awesome. Effie, all the different times. This is, I think, the 3rd picture I took with him. This is at the most recent show we were at, and just one of the nicest and most open gentlemen around, and just one of the best things to happen in professional wrestling in the last like few years is a person like Effie being in the business. And then Mike Bailey, this guy, we've raved about him so much on the New Japan shows he's been on. The guy is just an amazing talent, and getting to watch him at that show was just absolutely phenomenal. Getting to meet him was an absolute treat. But so we're going to move on to a very special category. This is mine and Mel's created, what we created. This is us. This is our category. Nobody else will have this category. Nobody in the world will be doing a best of with this one. And it is the Jason Rutledge Cosplay of the Year. And my pick is the LA Knight, because me and my boy right there, I'm doing my Bad Luck Fale. He's doing his LA Knight. It was a great night. I loved it. His LA Knight was just perfection. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
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 And we're going to Melball's Jason Rutledge Cosplay of the Year award.
Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt? My favorite was Dirty Dom. You did it so well. Look at that. Mommy's got him. It was fun. I loved that. Just look at the dedication this man had. I absolutely loved it.
Well, both of you with that gear. I'm gonna zoom this one in. I'm gonna. Oh, no,
spoiler alert.
I can't make this bigger. I don't know why. But okay, yeah. But just Mel's gear too on that night was just insane.
Yeah, the shorts were a little short. Kept having to pull them down.
There we go. I finally figured it out. But yeah, like both of them, the costume just stellar.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
One of those tattoos would not go away. It was one of those ones that like dye your skin. So like did not know that when I put it on. And yeah, I mean it was a badass tattoo, but like holy heck. Walked around rocking some pagan woman with a skull thing and a explosive crown for like 2 weeks. Was not expecting.
Weren't you getting tats like a couple days after that too?
Now I've filled up the arm. The same arm.
But weren't you getting a tattoo with Kat just a few days after that?
Yes,
show?
this one. That one. And she actually ended up tattooing over a little bit of where the dye was. Yeah. Good times.
So if you paid attention to what I was clicking there, we're moving on to the. Well, I wrote Andre in here, and it meant to be Melball. I'm sorry, my graphic work is terrible. This is Melball's pick, not mine. Mine was the LA Knight. I'm just bad at graphics. We're gonna move on to Match of the Year, and we're kicking it off with the Melball's pick for Indie Match of the Year.
I mean, this freaking match had me on the edge of my seat. In fact, I was standing up on it at some points, not even touching my seat, which was rude to the people behind me. But anyway, this match, I mean, and for I'm not the biggest Harlan Abbott fan, but goddamn, was this a hell of a match. These two guys put on an incredible match that took place all over the area that they could. Soy Boy and his aerials are just top notch. This guy is just raw talent, just waiting to be unleashed on the world of professional wrestling. Him and his 15 freaking abs. Um, this match, though, was so intense, so crazy, and it brought out the absolute best in both of these guys. We really noticed from some of the pictures that came from this how good both of these guys play to the cameras. And like, yes, it was being filmed, but it's like there's always film crews and camera crews around all of the promotions rings now, whether it be like the professional stuff or the wrestlers getting their stuff. There's always people around there. They always are like learning how to look at the cameras and always be ready to take that good shot. You don't really have any bad pictures coming out of the top talent shows. These guys are really, really good at that expressiveness and that playfulness with their faces. Yeah, but this match was just whoo, 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 whoo. But even like because I toyed with the Chris Bay one too, but I felt that this one really showed me the best of the combination of styles. Because Chris Bay and Son of Irish have a very similar style, whereas Harland has a completely different style entirely to Mr. Cody Garcia there.
Mm.
Andre, what do you think of this one?
Oh, dude, absolutely stud. This was on my short list. This was in my top 3. I was considering this Irish Spit match with Bay and the one I picked. With my just phenomenal matches that I got to see there, and there's so many more from this year that it might be a recency bias maybe that we're picking matches so much later in the year, but there was some great stuff early in the year. Like, it can't deny some of the tag team matches we saw, some of like just all the different stuff we saw this year. But this match just was one of that stood head and shoulders above it all.
Oh yeah. One of my choices actually was Nasty Nate and was Channing Decker.
Mm.
That was a great match because I don't usually like those hardcore matches, but that match also.
I missed that one because I was late to that show.
Naughty.
Work. I gotta work. But we're gonna move on to my pick, and I don't think it's a surprise to many because it involves one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Michael Richard Blaze versus Speedball Mike Bailey. And I think this was probably pretty high on Mel's list too, because we were both super excited going into the show, and this match delivered in every which way for me. I'm pretty sure LPW has it up on their YouTube page. If you can go watch it, go watch it. It's Mike Bailey doing what Mike Bailey does, and Blaze just keeping up with Bailey. And really not, like, I don't say that because Blaze is a phenomenal professional wrestler, but these two just working at such a high level together. The dives in this were insanity, just the wrestling back and forth. To see Bailey's strikes in person was just crazy, man. Just like I thought I saw it on TV, they looked super hard, but in person, I'm like, oh, they looked like they were killing him.
Yeah, when when seeing and hearing it on television versus like seeing and hearing it in real life, especially with where we sit, we get good seats. It's right at the corner there, so we're very, very close. Like, man, you can almost feel them. It's incredible.
Yeah. Again, absolutely tremendous match, man. Easily my match of the year. But we're gonna move on now to our best wrestlers of the year. For the Indy category, we went with it's men, women, whoever. Like it's there was no limit on gender in this one. We didn't have a best male, best woman. It's just our best indie wrestler of the year. We're gonna go to Mel first.
Yeah, I picked a nasty one himself, Mr. Nasty Nate Nixon. Incredible year. He was I think it was a North American heavyweight champion for RCW for quite some time. Held that title really, really well. All over socials with that one. Um, Obviously and arguably one of the best theme songs in professional wrestling. It's always the nasty section when we are seeing Mr. Nixon. But his wrestling, the wrestling has just gotten just every match we see him is better and better and better and better. You can tell how hard he is working, not just physically, but like in the ring. And his psychology also is getting so, 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 so good. Seeing him also tag with Quinn has been just a treat to watch throughout the year. And something else that I also really like about Nixon is that he's quite active on his socials, but not in like a boring kind of way. You know how there's some guys who are just like, here's my match poster, here's my match poster, here's my match poster. He actually posts like interesting content, gives you some insight into the things he's doing. Um, his stories are quite entertaining. You get like a little bit of comedy in there. But it's not just his wrestling. You get some insight into who he is. He's also very engaging with the crowd. I mean, like, I remember when I first started seeing him a few years ago, I believe he was a heel. And he was not over with the crowd. They did not like him one bit. And it's like when he flipped face, it was like overnight, suddenly the next month, the crowd erupted when he came out there. He won them over very easily. It was such an evolution and such a quick one to see, but he's only gotten more and more popular everywhere he goes. So, yeah, I picked Mr. Nixon himself. What do you think of that, Andre?
I think an absolutely phenomenal pick because like Nate, I used to watch Nate back when he was at NPW, and and the crowd hated him, and there was some hate on him more just like they hated who he was more than anything. They just didn't want him there, and then you felt that hate kind of change into like, oh, we hate this guy because he's so dastardly, and then he moved over to RCW, still got that hate for a while, but I think he had gotten so good that the people just couldn't help but want to cheer for this dude. And he just evolved into such an awesome professional wrestler. And that, yeah, easily a great pick for Wrestler of the Year.
Yes, we had to coordinate this because I contacted you before and I was like, okay, these are my top two picks. Who did you pick? You picked my other pick.
Yeah, and your other pick, which might surprise some for me, some knowing me, my pick is Son of Irish. This kid has not disappointed once this year. He was the LPW Challenge champion, had some crazy matches there. I know he had the match with Blaze. It just his match with Harlan, his match with Bay, just everything. He's done so much great work. There's that match with Travis where he lost the LPW Challenge Championship. Just phenomenal. Him teaming with Jared Rogers now, and those two just looking as phenomenal as they do. This kid is so good. I've only got to see him work with Alex Rain once, and they did great. But they ended up losing the tag titles when I was there. I guess I'm a bad luck charm, but for when those two are together. But man, I've watched. I remember him as just this little tiny kid reffing matches at MPW back in like 2015, 2014, 2013, like in those early days, and then him debuting under the mask at a super young age, and then just watching him evolve as a professional wrestler. He's what 20, 21 now, and just has impressed me with every step he's made, and it's the reason he's my wrestler of the year. And I know he was a tie for you with him and Nate. I know it was just that close with you. So and again, I love this kid in a very much a personal way because I've gotten to know him over this year, and I love how good he is in the ring.
So good to watch in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else to say about him? I mean, definitely hyped him up a lot more in the Harland and him versus Harlan match. And what more can you say? I mean, the sky's the limit with this one, and he's probably going to try to kick it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. I think he only gets better from here. I know coming up, he's gonna be he's gonna be at the Oil Rumble show in that 3-way. Dude, it's just I can't wait to see more and more of this kid. He's just getting better and better, and he will that future professional wrestling thing that he calls himself. It's true. He will be a goddamn star because and you can see he's slowly bulking up too. He's putting that mass on, which is only going to help him in the professional wrestling.
He's already got 15 abs. It's only a matter of time before he gets 16.
And then eventually he'll just be one big ab.
One big ab, all of the abs.
So we are gonna jump over to the best of Japanese wrestling, the New Japan and Stardom division. We're gonna be talking Stardom. We're gonna be jumping back and forth between Stardom and between New Japan throughout, because a lot of them we're gonna do both brands at the same time. So we're gonna be just jumping on through. So we're gonna kick it off with Stardom and the best gear. I guess we could have done this for New Japan, but I find they don't have as elaborate gears as what the ladies do. So I really think about the gear with them more. And I'm my pick first. I'm going with Julia. Just a range of different. This is all her gear from this year. These are all gear she wore this year. Like it's all very similar, but it all has its own standouts. And then her entrance jackets are just phenomenal. She changes her hair up. It does what she does with the hair. It's I don't know. I just love the look that she presents at all these different shows, and then it's never the same. And that's what I love that about her. And I'm hoping she keeps that if she comes over and goes to WWE.
Same, yeah. I kind of nickname her the chameleon, ever changing her look, never changing herself. I really like that about Julia. Good pick.
Yeah, and we're going to go over to Mel's pick.
Yes. Dama. Tanakano. I mean, look at the gear here, like right on the side there where she's got that full wings. I just love that. Might be partial to the fact that most of her gear is purple, and it's my favorite color. But her gear is always so unique and vastly different from the last one, but still true to who Tam is. They always have some variety of tutu. She always has the little sheary bits hanging off of the back of her kick pads. She has these like little unique things, the arm wrap that she always has, the gloves. It's so everything about it is just so kawaii, so cute. I love it. Yeah, I hope when she does come back after she's kind of healed up from her injury there that we get this style of Tom again and start seeing that twilight color coming back into Stardom, because otherwise Oedo Tai is the only one who really ever wears purple.
I just realized I was muted. Yeah, her gear is always a treat, and to see all the different variations of what she's gonna do, because she has some that look more like armor. She's got some that look more form fitting. Again, but it all looks just absolute perfection, and she just looks absolutely stellar every time she debuts a new gear. I've noticed it on a couple. Like if you look at the bottom left corner, there's a star there, and I was like, is Tam Nakano Jewish? Is what went through my brain, because again, you kind of associate that symbol, but it is a kagome. It's from it's part of a Japanese culture. It's a part of a trihexagonal thingy that yeah, but again, that's what it is. So like even in the baskets and things like that, that's what that is. When at first I was like, what, really, what? No, that makes no sense.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, well, he could, yeah, and who knows? But yeah, no, it's good to know because she is always doing her
Yeah.
doodling stars.
Yeah, it's a kagome. Yeah, that's what it is. So I learned something new doing this. So we're gonna move on to the best faction. We're gonna start in Stardom on this one, and Mel's gonna be surprised because this is both of our picks.
Oh, I am surprised. I'm curious to hear why you picked Oedo Tai.
Okay, again, I there's a little bit of love for Club Venus, but it's hard to give it to Club Venus because the team has been so in and out with a lot of their members, because there's really only 3 of them there this year. I'm a big fan of DDM, but I didn't feel like the faction was super united this year because they were literally fighting with Micah. They were literally fighting with Micah at times throughout the year. And I look at Oedo Tai as this unit that they just seem, it doesn't matter who they put together in the ring, everybody seems to be this pure cohesive unit that it's just The only other team that I think comes close, I think, is Stars right now, because Queen's Quest had their whole drama this year with Dutant, their leader, not thinking she could be their leader, in then just seeing how Oedo Tai works together. Yes, they're cheap. They pull a lot of tactics, but they do it in such in almost a good, and almost in a smart way in the way they do a lot of their things. I can see it because again, and you put no matter which members you put in there, they're almost a perfect unit. I again, Fukigen Death scares me, but Billiken Death scares me more.
It always comes back to the clowns for you. Yeah, no, the all good things and very good points. Yes, Oedo Tai has been kind of holding down the fort as the only, I think, official full heel faction that Stardom has. And I mentioned this on a show previously as a problem, but man, are they doing so good at holding it down alone? And Natsuko Tora, I think, is the brainchild of this faction. Everyone definitely seems to look to her. Even Momo seems to look to her for kind of like guidance as they're doing their shenanigans. And like, I'm not gonna lie, Tora is like Mother Gothel. Tora kind of knows best. She gets results. She gets her people where she needs them to be. And this faction as a whole is always involved in the title scene in some way or like shape or form. There's a reason why they're in that title. Not just because they're the only heel team, but because they have earned their way up there with their in-ring, with their overall characters, with the faction character. It's just so cool. Good pick. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, again, it's just they've been almost this not being, and again, Uraka has come along in such a great way this year, how she's evolved, and Rena, and then Rena, she's the champion. She's literally the champion of the team with her future Stardom title. So they've it's not just their top members being great, but they're bringing up their young members. Like, and I know Starlight Kid's fairly young, but she's been around a long time, so I don't put her in that same category. But like they're younger, they're less experienced members are very much evolving into two great professional wrestlers. So you really gotta give a plus in that column. So we're gonna move on to best faction in New Japan. And I don't think it's going to be a surprise from anybody what my pick is. And Mel's is pretty. I think Mel's is kind of obvious too. It's both of our pick. It's United Empire. Right here. Right here. Thank you, Mel.
I mean, it's the one faction that we always come back to, irregardless of what we're talking about, because they are quite legitimately the most ideal faction. Not only do they have people for everything, they got their heavyweights, they got their leader who goes after the big titles, they have a combination like of heavyweights that they can send after singles titles or tag titles. They have the tag, like the junior tag guys, Callum, freaking TJP, Francesco Akira. These are all Aussie Open. You got all of these super talented people. But then what we've always come back to too is just the staple made of their name. They are united. Everybody has each other's backs. It's not a matter of our United Empire going to help their guys out when they're getting jumped by the War Dogs. It's a matter of when they are hitting the ring and kicking the shit out of the War Dogs. They always have their guys' backs. And that's not something that we can say for really any other faction in New Japan. Chaos is literal chaos right now. There's no, like, I haven't seen Okada or Ishii come to help bail out Bishamon at all when they were dealing with the House of Torture or Bullet Club stuff. And we also never saw Bishamon help Okada. So like The last time mind you, they might be afraid to because last time Yoshihashi tried to, he broke his nose. Um, but yeah, Andre, take us into how you came to this conclusion.
Well, again, there's a lot of bias here. This is it's my favorite wrestler in the world, in Will Ospreay. It's his faction. So they're right there already. But again, I was debating two other factions. I was debating TMDK because I thought they've had a great year. It's just not quite the year Empire has had. I was also debating the War Dogs, the Bullet Club, like Bullet Club's War Dogs, because they had such a great year in their strong openweight tag titles, the junior tag titles, and Finley has just been on a crushing role as the leader in this year. So, but it's just this team has been they've been insanely dominant this year because you look at it, you got Ospreay, who has the United States United Kingdom Heavyweight Championship this year, or 2023. You had Davis and Fletcher having the IWGP tag titles and the strong openweight tag titles. They ended up losing them, vacating due to injury, yes. But then you also had TJP and Francesco Akira having a couple runs as the junior heavyweight tag champs, and also winning the Super Junior Tag League this year. So the resume for the faction, I don't think even anybody can quite match what the faction did this year. So that's why I'm so. Again, they're my favorite faction, but there's like TMDK are like Empire is here. TMDK is just right below it, and I just don't know if I'm going to be able to pick this faction next year because we don't know what the future is going to be for this faction with Ospreay heading to AEW. So there's a lot of questions if I'm going to be able to pick this faction next year. I'm hoping I can, but I know I need to pick them this year because they had such a great run.
100%. Yeah, their resume this year was just incredible. Incredible.
Again, just phenomenal year. So we are going to move on to most improved, and we're starting up with Melball.
Yes, for Stardom, I picked Waka Tsukiyama. This one was actually hard for me. I had a few that I wanted to put focus on, but the other ones kind of came in the tail end of the year with impressiveness when we started noticing a Waka absence. But Waka was that just Cinderella story who kind of clawed her way up from the bottom and was able to secure that win over her at the time leader Tam Nakano. It was such a sweet and just heartwarming story for the crowd to follow. Like, I was crying when I saw her win this. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, finally. It was like they did like such a great story with her, and it wasn't a short one. Like, this story was most of the year until she left with Cosmic Angels with Mina Shirakawa to form Club Venus. And as far as I know, she's the last remaining one, still in Japan at least.
Yeah.
But her wrestling has gotten so good, and the passion and just like fury that she brings, you don't expect from someone who looks so cute. I'm glad you got this picture of this gear. This is my favorite gear of hers. I wish she would wear this more.
Yeah.
This gear all the time, Waka.
Yeah, this is her thing. It's been referred to as her Moonlight Fantasy gear because that's been her. Yeah, again, I love this gear. And she started from the bottom. Now she's here. I shout out Drake on that one. But yeah, she had an incredible rise this year. Going and again, that storyline that she wasn't winning was for like a year and a half, almost like it's 2 years since she had won a match, and finally gets that win when her and Tam teamed against Nane and beat Nane. And then she eventually leaves and goes with Mina to try to build herself up and make her own name for herself. Be Mina, be the Mina to Tam as be what Mina was to Tam. And I really believe that's what she is in that world. Like, she is that number 2 for Mina. Yeah.
Hey, but Riker was number 2, and most people like Riker, so.
Yeah. Oh, Riker was one of the best parts of Star Trek. We're gonna go to my pick, and this one might surprise Mel. I'm going with Raka because I think her evolution this year. Because I remember when we started watching her, I didn't pay a lot of attention to this girl. And throughout 2023, she impressed me more and more and more. The evolution in her, this is a little bit older look for her, but like the evolution in her gear, her look, her style, her everything. And then being with a faction that has really helped her evolve into this great wrestler that she is while having dirty tactics. She can go in and have a match without having to use any of those dirty tactics and be insanely impressive. That I just think she had such a wonderful rise when she was working with Starlight Kid, that she was working with Momo, Tora, Fuki, Rena. No matter who she worked with, she flowed well with them. That's that cohesion of that team, and just how good she's evolved. Like she is a Natsuka Tora Jr., but she is Ruwaka. Like she is her own person while still being kind of an emulation of that leader. She's evolved. That's what she was for me at first, but she's turned into this awesome character of her own while still having that tribute to her to Tora in that sense, but being her own person now, which I wish somebody else would figure that out.
Ooh, I wonder who. Ooh.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Ruaka's journey this year has just been absolutely incredible. I remember actually, I was mentioning her to you a few times when we used to go down to that bar and watch wrestling. She was one of the first people that I had mentioned that I said that, you'd be surprised by what this woman can do. And that was like 2, 3 years ago. And it's still relevant today. She's so good. You can see the confidence that she walks with now. It's like she has this little swagger that she has that's like Tora, like you said, but it's her own little touch of her own little flair that makes her Ruaka and makes her stand out. You're absolutely right. Good pick.
I try to surprise you every now and again. I guess I've surprised you twice on this show now. But we're gonna go into our most improved Melball. This is I was almost 100% sure this was the name you were gonna send me.
How could I not? Especially when we're doing like this is our inaugural show about the best ofs for the last year for us and favorites and whatever. Yeah. I mean, if you know, you know. I had been a little critical about the upbringing of Hikuleo. I definitely felt he was coddled by his involvement with the Bullet Club early on, and that I didn't feel that he got fully out of his excursion what he should have, given that he was kind of in the same ish group as like Umino, Suji, um, Mura and all that. I felt it took him a little longer to kind of find his ground. During the Strong brand, he struggled to stay on his feet. It's like there's times when your limbs are so long you don't necessarily know where they're all going, and I would see him randomly start running and just fall down, and it it was kind of like, bro, what are you doing? Whatever he did in the last, especially 2 years, but especially this year, has just it's not even took a step up. He jumped up multiple stairs somewhere along the way. It was just like suddenly I was like, whoa, what was I sleeping on this guy? I felt like last week I couldn't even say something nice that he couldn't stand up. Now he's in singles title talk. He's in the tag division and dominating with El Phantasmo. They have great moves. He's doing great. He's gotten in tremendously good shape. Like the incredible evolution of this man probably should be documented. It's just incredible. Because you wouldn't even think he was the same person last year. Like it's just absolutely incredible. Andre, what do you think?
Yeah, Hikuleo has come leaps and bounds, even from when we started talking, when we were talking about him last year, or in 2022, when we first started the show. When we were talking, every time we talked about him, we were both fairly critical of the guy. Like I liked certain things he did, but we both had it, criticisms. And then something clicked in early 2023 where he just found his footing, and he just all just fell into place for the guy. Clicked, and then he ended up winning that strong openweight championship. He ended up dropping it right back at the following match against Kenta. But like, and then I think the best thing that's happened to him is getting him with ELP, and has really been able to really like hone in on what he's good at, working with ELP, and it shows by winning those tag titles at the start of 2024 again, and just being the strong champions for a while there at the end of 2023. He had such a great year. So we're just a thumbs up from now. We're gonna move on to my pick, and I cheated a little. I'll admit I cheated, and I picked the War Dogs as a faction. All of these guys came like. If you remember, Clark Connors was teaming with Taguchi earlier on this year in that Super Junior, or was teaming with Taguchi last year in the Super Junior Tag League. He was kind of a joke.
Forget my guy.
He's kind of this like he was coming off as like this joke character, and then Kid and Coggin were just happened to be guys that were put on strong shows and were used in other just in kind of in undercards and stuff. They weren't getting a good push, and then Finley just him taking out Jay White on his way out, and then recruiting Connors, recruiting all these guys, and then Drilla coming in with the United Empire, then turning on them. They've just built such a great. Everybody's come up so well together that I think it's almost fitting to say and Bullet Club itself, I think, has improved because of this. I think they've rehabbed the name Bullet Club by being this whole team bringing it up. So like as a whole, all of these guys evolved by becoming the War Dogs.
I will allow it. I agree. Because you're absolutely right. Yeah. These like other than Maloney, who had kind of secured what we thought would be a fairly lucrative deal with United Empire there. The Bullet Club hippity hop, the hip hip hippity, the hip hip hopping it, don't stop. Has been pretty lucrative, not just for him, but for Bullet Club. People are talking more about Bullet Club. Bullet Club is more talked about in the picture. Jay White's been over in AEW for a hot minute with I don't even know what his faction is called. You're muted.
Bullet Club Gold.
Is it though? I haven't heard anything about them much. Kind of makes me worried. You're absolutely right. Finley brought relevancy back to the Bullet Club, and he brought it back not just by doing what he did with Jay White, but then bringing in Coughlin and Kidd, which shocked me. I personally didn't think Coughlin especially had it in him, but did he show me. Same with Connors. Like, I knew Connors could be a savage. I just didn't know he could be like that unhinged. But the combination of him and Maloney has just been so good. It's money, and Gato knows it, and Finley knows it. It was a very slow build for the singles guys, though. Like for Finley and the Kenta and the Ishimori last year, it was a very simmer year. It was definitely a push for the tag guys, but I think Finley's going to take more charge this year for sure.
But you still can't deny how Finley brought himself up this year to make him more relevant, to get himself into the position to start 2024 the way he did. There was a lot of work from all of them, and it's just that faction has only just built and built, and that's why I think all of them as a whole, because just one on their own doesn't feel like it had to happen as a whole to really evolve them.
It was the Borg. That's the second Star Trek Generation reference we've made in one show. That's a record for us.
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna move on to best junior tag match, and we're just gonna start with Melball's pick. It's yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there's just the raw intensity and of emotions behind these guys. It was from start to finish a freaking brawl. These guys were just beating the holy hell out of each other. It was crazy. It was barely a match. It was just this glorious, glorious chaos. Um, yeah, it was. I feel retribution for both of these teams because they were chomping at the bits for each other the whole tournament for this. She's like, eh, I can't say too much more. It was so good. Andre, what'd you think of this one?
I don't have anything to say on this one because it's gonna play right into mine. Uh, Same goddamn teams. So this is when Connors and Jilla first got together and got their shot at Catch 2-2 and took the titles. This match again was two teams just beating the living holy piss out of each other because Jilla had just turned on the Empire. So like there was so much hatred there, and these two teams were just beating the holy again. The same thing Mel said in that one. There's themes through these teams' matches, but it's just right. Again, like it's just and it's I when after right after I watched it, I put it on my match of the year list. And when I'm scrolling through, looking at my junior tag matches, I'm like, that stood out to me so much because again, it showed this new side to Jilla Maloney, and it helped. It was helping to evolve Connors at the time, and it was just an absolutely great match. With a slight disappointment that the War Dogs didn't win, but I think them winning was the right thing to happen to keep this feud to go as far as it did.
I agree. I 100% agree. Good choice.
Again, we have such similar tastes in things, you know. So we are gonna move.
Great minds, my friend.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to best tag match from Stardom. We're going me first. It's Julia and Suzuki taking on Micah and Utami Ishida from the September 10th Dream Tag event. This was a 15-minute draw where these women just went to war for 15 minutes, and just by the end you're praying for a winner, and then the bell goes and you're just like, oh, it's just, and it was just this like perfect moment of like, I think for the best women in this company, just and having Julia on the opposite side from Micah. I think, and it was why I didn't go DDM this year. It's because of this, because of those warring things, and just I absolutely loved it, and just to see her work with Suzu, who was her friend before she came to Stardom, and to see these reluctant partners working together, it was absolutely tremendous.
Oh, yes. I remember there were a lot of Germans in this one. A lot of Germans. Love it. Glorious.
We're gonna move on to Mel's.
Oh, yes. Yes, this was a moment for me. Mirai and Amisori taking on Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May. This was when Club Venus won the Goddess of Stardom titles. And holy hell, did they ever freaking earn those titles. We know that, like, Mariah May, I mean, even looking at this picture, she looks like a sweet little Barbie doll. That Barbie doll hits freaking harder than your freaking daddy. This match was incredibly hard hitting because you wouldn't know it. We were looking at four powerful, very powerful women that meet each other on the same power level. Mariah is every bit as strong as Ami and Mirai, is as strong as Mina or Mariah. I remember the shotgun drop kicks that Mariah was doing throughout this one, the spinning backhands from Mina, the lariats from both Ami and Mirai. I love their double machine guns, alternating machine gun chops, but it just wasn't enough to keep Club Venus down. You probably really like this pick.
Oh, I was, and this was on my short list, but just, and again, I'm such a big Club Venus fan. I love seeing these two win the titles, but just Absolutely tremendous match. Yeah. So we're going to move on to our new Japan heavyweight tag matches of the year. We're going to kick it off with Melball's pick.
I mean, what do you say about these two tag teams? Every damn time they get in the ring together, it is freaking money. Money, 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 money. They're so good. And it's always different. They always throw their signatures in there, but these guys somehow have this ability to just completely throw everything in there and have it be great and unique every single fracking time. The intensity of Mark Davis matches the intensity of Mikey Nichols perfectly, but also that insanity of Shane Haste matches that insanity of Kyle Fletcher so well. These teams are just chemistry magic. I love seeing them fight. I love every time that we see that these guys are going to be fighting because we know it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, this match, it was at Wrestling Satsuma on April 29th, and it was just a barn burner of a match. And I was close to picking it, but again, I love me some TMDK. I love me some Aussie Open. These two teams are absolutely tremendous. But my pick was from the April 15th match, just 2 weeks before this. It was Motor City Machine Guns defending the Strong Openweight tag titles against Okada and Tanahashi and Aussie Open. And Aussie Open won this to bring the titles together. And this match gave you everything. Tanahashi looked like a star, but seeing Motor City Machine Guns go toe to toe with Aussie Open was absolutely tremendous. And just having Okada and Tanahashi mixed into all of it was an absolute treat, man. This match was, I think, more than I could ask for. Like, this just it was an easy tag match of the year for me. It was on my list, and it was one of my top tag matches of the year. And I couldn't help but pick this, man. It was just so good watching all three teams just kill each other. And I don't know, I love me some Motor City Machine Guns, and I want Dunkzilla, I want Mark Davis back because I want to see him and Kyle Fletcher kill it again together. But Fletcher's doing so good as the singles now in AEW that it's like,
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I remember this match. I actually remember Okada and Tanahashi kind of like almost feeling like spot fillers at certain points where like the main focus was Motor City Machine Guns and Aussie Open, and then every once in a while Okada and Tanahashi be like, "Ayo, we're still here," do their thing, have their turn. Good pick.
but it's almost kind of a good thing to be like, the focus being on the Motor City Machine Guns and Aussie Open more than who was the man who was your world champion at the time, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, your future president of New Japan. Like, it's those things, like it's those perfect little things that just made that match absolutely stellar to me. I got to jump over to our other slideshow to start off with our junior tag team of the year, and it's unanimous. It's me and Melball. It's Catch 2. Like, how could I pick any other team? You see, had such a phenomenal year, running roughshod over the junior tag division with and without the titles. They were just this awesome team to watch this year, and I love both these men, and I cannot wait to see what these two do in 2024.
Oof. Yes, I mean, well, they're starting as champions. That's what they're doing. I think that's how they say it in Italy. I hope that's how they say it in Italy. Yeah, these guys, whew, Fire Nova, TJP, such a good combination. You can see how much Akira has learned wrestling with TJP. The two of them have become so cohesive and so like they work so well together. But yeah, they had such an incredible year winning the Super Junior Tag League. now winning titles at WrestleMania. Yeah, my only other contenders for the, or not WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bad Melball. Now my thought lost me. That's okay. Good choices for us.
I love how your thought lost you instead of you losing your thoughts. I like that.
Yeah, it kept going. I stopped.
All right, we're going to move on to our Stardom Tag Teams of the Year. I'm going to start with mine. It's Rose Gold. I love these two. Were absolutely tremendous from the time they started tagging together when they were in the trios with Zaya Brookside, then working together in a tag team throughout the year, winning the goddess titles, and just I'm so sad that Mariah's gone now. It pains me, but these two were such a great unit, and like it wasn't just their stuff in the ring. It was watching the social medias and following these two in everyday life and watching how they were friends and doing stuff together, going to Disneyland Tokyo, and just all the adventures that they got up together as a team. I loved it. And the matches these girls were part of as a tag team were absolutely tremendous. And I can't, for me personally, I know some other tag teams had bigger parts of the year, but I just think these two, for coming together only at the end of 2022 and to do what they did throughout the year, I can't pick a better team for me personally.
I kind of knew this one was gonna be your pick there. It's pretty obvious, but it's for good reasonings. I mean, this team was actually my number 2 pick. So good taste. There we go. Good taste.
Speaking of Mel's pick,
Yes, my pick. God's Eye. I can't remember what their tag team name was though.
I don't remember.
I don't either. But God's Eye. I can say they're at least God's Eye. 2/3 of the Powerpuff Girls. We got Buttercup and Bubbles here. These girls are just power. These girls had a very dominant year, having won those Goddess of Stardom championships from Yu and Nane Takahashi. Not you, but like Yu. It was a little questionable how they won for me, but there wasn't a more powerful team at that time because we didn't have Bane at that time. We didn't have a team powerful enough to combat the strength and power that was Nane and Yu. So it made sense that we had these two win. Mirai also, having won a lot of individual tournaments throughout the year, really helped elevate the team together. And I felt that when these two were tagging together, they were just unquestionably dominant. So that was why I picked these two for tag team of the year from Stardom. Andre, what you think?
Again, like they were such a dominant team throughout 2022 into 2023 and had such a great run in the 2023 that it was hard not to pick them because again, these two are just dominant together, but I think each has had their accolades more, I'd say, in their singles runs this year too. I think it's more where I found them in anything they have each had pretty good years in their singles runs. So that's a big point there too.
Well, look at you making points.
Making all the points. We're gonna move on to our heavyweight tag of the year, team of the year from New Japan, and it's unanimous. It's unanimous. It's unanimous. No, it's not them. Not them. Not them. It's TMDK, baby. Go ahead, Melball.
I mean, it's unquestionable at this point. I wanted to say United Empire, but the combination that we have gotten this year of Empire heavyweight tag teams hasn't been as dominant as TMDK. Even Aussie Open, like we lost them for a good chunk of the year, and that's the only reason why I feel we couldn't really pick them because we didn't get too much of a time to treasure them before Mr. Fletcher flew. Yeah. So these guys I felt have been holding down the fort and like holding down the fort against Bishamon, holding down the fort against the War Dogs, holding down the fort against House of Torture. These guys have been putting in such hard work, and Nichols has done it without headbutting people.
Mm-hmm.
At least this time, the last half of the year, he has managed to. The G1 was a little questionable, but yeah, I felt that these guys, the combination of these two, there's a reason why the WWE wanted them. It's unfortunate that they didn't utilize them or couldn't utilize them in the way that they could have been, but I'm happy to see that we get to.
Yeah, yeah. These two, I've been a fan since the runs in Pro Wrestling Noah, way back before they even went to the WWE, and I was such a big fan of them as TM61, and then Hayes, or was it Nichols left? Hayes did his single stuff, then he left, and when they reunited on Strong, I was so excited because Nichols had been part of Chaos for a while, and then they reformed TMDK with Jonah, and then they've only just evolved into this absolutely wonderful team with Shane Hayes being this like superstar who I only think King is going to go up from there. And again, I could see him getting a singles run at some point, but like I love these two as a tag team. Their matches throughout the year, I was never disappointed by a Team DK match. Even when they faced teams like House of Torture and Bishamon, they still managed to do stuff that made us enjoy it. Like I guess I'm kind of harsh on Bishamon because they had some good matches this year, but like they always gave us something special, Team DK, and that's what I really loved.
100%. 100%. Having Fujita in their corner has been tremendously beneficial, not just for Fujita, but for them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Fujita. This like he'll probably be my most improved by the end of 2024. That because that kid's only going to rise. So, but we're going to move on to our best show of the year, and the first for Stardom, it's unanimous. It's All Star Grand Queendom again, an absolutely phenomenal show in my opinion. What do you think about like just overall one of the I think we had talked about it, you and me, about like I think we talked over like 2 or 3 shows that we had contending for show of the year, and it both boiled down to just the top matches on both shows. And this one, and even top matches on both shows were on all the shows we talked about were great, but this one's undercard delivered in like an incredible way on top of it all, which I don't think the other shows quite had the undercard this one did. I think is where this one really pushed it over the top for us.
Yeah. I actually I just pulled up my notes from Ed's year end of the show here. This one had that kind of Logan Paul thing where Fuwa-chan, that influencer, made her tag debut with Hazuki. Teaming with Hazuki, going against Utami and Miwa Masaki. This was where Mina, I think, won the Wonder of Stardom champion. Suri, remember she took on Chiro Hashimoto, that incredible power lifter who has a surprisingly like diverse and good technical background. That was where Mayu Iwatani defeated Mercedes Moné for the IWGP Women's Champion. Tam Nakano defeating Julia. Like, yeah, the Artist of Stardom. The Artist of Stardom one was questionable.
It was like that. Like, but it. I don't think there was any way out of that match in that way without like kind of crushing 2 of the biggest people in the company. Like, the count up made sense in a way. I know it disappointed both of us, but like Mina and Saya Kamatani, absolutely incredible match. Tam Nakano versus Julia. While Julia lost, and that broke my heart. The match itself was an absolutely incredible match. Those two, like, just you couldn't. There ain't much better, but it was so good. Again, the overall, like, Micah versus Hemika was on this show. Hemika's retirement match, her last Stardom match. She ended up on another show on the 14th as like, I think it was, I can't remember. I think it was a multi-person match. I can't remember, but like, this was her big, like, send-off match. Like, there was just the show top to bottom, and then you had May Sarah's debut here with May May and Starlight Kid versus Azumi and May Saruga in that wonderful like, high speed tag match that started the show, that started the main card. So again, so much great stuff out of this card that made it such a perfect, well-rounded card.
I agree.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the New Japan side of it all. I don't know if me and Mel came to the same conclusion on these ones, because I don't know, seemed very, came down to it, but we did. We came to the same conclusion. It's Wrestle Kingdom 17. 4 days into 2023, it gave us our best card of the year. I just wanted to scare you a little bit there, Mel, because I didn't have my notes ready for the card.
Heart attack, sir. Don't scare me like that.
This card, top to freaking bottom, just amazing. The pre-show, like, had the Rambo on it, meh. But that Antonio Inoki Memorial 6-man tag match had a bunch of legends come in to do some great stuff, or a bunch of legends kind of were in there. It started off with Catch 2-2 versus Leo Russian Yo, and that incredible tag match where Leo got his face broken and just bloody throughout the match. It was just like, just so much good on this show. You had FTR facing Bishamon on the show. The only disappointment to me with the show was the IWGP women's match, and that's because it only got like just under 6 minutes. I think it should have got more, but we also got the debut of Monet there. You had Zack Sabre Jr. winning the World TV title. Huge moment there, man. So much great on this card. I'm gonna let Mel keep talking about it more.
Oh my god, I don't know the rest of the matches, guy. You're the match guy.
Well, okay, like, you had Keiji Muto's final New Japan match on this. You had Tama Tonga beating Carl Anderson. You had Hiromu winning the junior title from Taiji Ishimori, while also beating Desperado and Wato. You had Okada defeating Jay White for the title in what would be the start of Jay White's farewell to the company. And then you had probably one of the best matches I've ever seen in my lifetime in Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the U.S. title. And just,
I knew you wanted to say that one because you love Ospreay. So
I was trying to give it to you, but it was just one of, like, just overall from top to bottom, there's not a even the 6 minutes that the girls got was still great. The only disappointing part on this show was the fuck up by Monet in New Year finisher, but otherwise, this show is almost perfection, top to bottom.
I agree. It was so good, such a good show. But yeah, I do wish the women's match was a little bit longer, just because, a little under 6 minutes is not enough to see what it is that the Stardom girls can offer you, especially the level of woman that was out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we probably knew at this point that we were going to be losing one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and again,
However,
I'm sitting there going, Jay, please win, because I wanted, and we were both tired and spent going into that final match because of how over the top Kenny and Ospreay took it. We were both just like, oh, at the end. Because I was debating.
You would think they would learn and put Ospreay at the end.
You think, but you go with your world title last. Your world title should always be the final thing, in my personal opinion. But yeah, we move on to our best singles junior. We're in singles matches. Best junior match of the year, Melball. Take us away.
This match was freaking incredible. Master Watto and Teton was just, oh, these guys were all over the place. All over the place. I have never seen Watto so laser focused. Like, he's good, but he was like, he's usually that little goofy kind of guy. He went into this match with Teton ready to go, and they were bouncing all over the place. If there was something that they could climb, they jumped off of it. There's bleachers. There was one point where Hiromu would be like running out to follow Teton around wherever he was going to jump off, and would be sitting there like, yeah, cheering like a lunatic for his friend, just yeeting himself off of everything. But these two guys put everything they had on the line for that Super Junior, Best of Super Junior. This was the tournament ender, and like,
Finals.
yeah, I really was hoping for Teton in this one, but this was the one where your prediction ended up being right. You called Master Watto taking it all, and that was about where his momentum ended for the year. It was a bitter disappointment because, man, after this match, I was looking forward to seeing this version of Master Watto hit the ground running, and they gave him Desperado. Don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, again, an absolutely incredible match to cap off that tournament. Yeah, again, such a great match. But my pick comes from the start of this tournament, and that is Hiromu Takahashi versus Mike Bailey. This match was an absolute barn burner. It just showed everybody why Mike Bailey is so goddamn good, and it reinvigorated me caring about Hiromu Takahashi. Because again, I know he had just come off of the heavyweight title challenge, but again, I had almost zero interest. I'm like, he's not winning that title. And again, I had been a little down on him since he won the belt again. And it kind of put me back into a point of this guy's actually really good. And then Bailey, the biggest part of this, Bailey getting the victory over the champion in this match, I think is what solidified this as so good. Bailey just really showing off his athletic skill, how good, and then just Hiromu being able to counter some of the stuff for being the first time they've been in the ring with Bailey, as far as I know. Just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I remember this one being really, really good. There's the speed of these two guys and the uniqueness of both of their skill sets made for a very, very entertaining and heavy hitting match. Good choice.
Ooh, I'm muted. I'm bad at my job. Yay. No, but again, it's just one of those like pure matches that it just I don't know. And he finished on off with that beautiful ultimate weapon was that backflip double knee drop off it's like off the second or off the top rope to the guy's back. It's just so good. And just that was such a good match, man. But we're gonna move on to best singles match from Stardom. We're starting with mine. It's Saya Kamatani versus Mina Shirakawa. I don't think anybody was. I don't know if anybody was gonna see me picking this, but how could I not? It's one of my favorites in Mina Shirakawa, and she finally climbed, especially after the 2022 in November, getting her jaw broken by Saya Kamatani, and the story they're telling that Saya Kamatani's been scared to do her Phoenix Splash since breaking Mina's jaw. And that she's a good person, that she doesn't want to hurt anybody else. And Mina saying, I'm going to take your heart. She's like saying shit like she's going to take her heart and stuff. Like she's going and then Kamatani hitting the Phoenix, going after the Phoenix Splash in this match, but not getting able to get the win with it. And Mina getting the win and just, I don't know. It felt like a crowning moment of what I thought was going to be Mina's like triumphant reign for the next 6 months throughout the year. And then she ended up losing it a month and change later to Tam Nakano in a unification bout. And I was just, but again, this match was so like it was the match for me on that show. I think it maybe if Julia had retained against Tam, that might have overdone it for me, because I think that ending brings it down for me a little, because it wasn't Julia winning and Mina winning this. And again, this is the story that was being told up to this point of her coming back for revenge for Saya breaking her jaw and Saya getting her edge back. And to do this, it was just such a perfect story leading up and such a great match in the ring.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree. Yeah, the story for this one was so incredible and well told by both of these ladies. And you're right, it lasted a very, very long time. There was a great lead up for it. I did feel it was, her win was definitely overshadowed by by the unification, which didn't even need to happen. They just ununified it a little while later. Man, Gato fix it. Good choice, though.
Yeah, I loved it. We're gonna move on to Mel's match, which I agree is it was one of the last ones cut for me. So,
I mean, holy hot diggity dang Dugan. Where do you start with this match? When Bane came in to Stardom, I was a little questionable. She looked great, but it was a little iffy. But we always got to give the girls 1 or 2 matches before they figure their stuff out. And this girl needed 1. The second match, it was like she'd been here a year and she figured it out. Whoever she was training with did absolutely everything right with Megan Bayne. She went from being the powerhouse who you just knew, like, how do I say this? She honed her skills. Whoever trained her helped her hone whatever she already had, and it made it even better. She has become this powerhouse of indomitable force. And then there's Julia. And Julia has been wrestling very power movie this year, not showing us that technicality as much until the last kind of few big shows matches that she's had the last couple of months. And we've seen her bringing out this just transitioning technique that we knew she could do, she just didn't bring it out. And against someone like Megan Bayne, she had to. She was forced to bring it out. This match was power. This match was Julia fighting for her life to transition into something that would slow Bayne down. And in the end, Julia ended up submitting Megan Bayne. And what was that weird ass thing? I can't remember what, guillotine?
Yeah, it was a guillotine.
Yeah, she had that thing locked right in there. It was absolutely incredible to watch. Just to see the combination of the styles flow and interlock so well together. It was just so good. Andre, what do you think?
Oh, again, I raved about this match over and over again when we talked about it. Like I look at my notes, and like the parts I've highlighted to talk about are more than half of what the match was, of all the notes I took. Of my highlights are more than half of what I wrote. But again, it was such a great match. It really showcased Bayne. Bayne looked like a monster, but looked like one of the most dominant people in this company. But Julia just came on at the end. He had this like even like Bayne fought to the end, hitting that giant lariat. And then she goes up for that moonsault, and she missing the moonsault. And this is where Julia took over with that knee to the face, Northern Light Bomb, and then ties up. It's like tying up the legs, pretzeling the legs before applying the guillotine. I think made it almost like and Bayne had nowhere to go. And then because again, she had made it all came down to that mistake of the moonsault, missing the moonsault, and that's where Julia capitalized from. And again, it was a great ending to that match, and I cannot wait to see these two go again at some point, because if Julia goes to WWE, it's going to be a long time before they fight again. And yeah, so we are going to jump. Are you got anything else?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, let's hope that's not the case and that there's like a nicey door thing there. Follow the yarn string back.
Yeah. But we're gonna move on to our men's or New Japan heavyweight match of the year, and it's unanimous. It's unanimous. Me and Melball. It's Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, United States title. I was debating because Forbidden Door is a co-promoted show. I technically could have picked that one, but I wanted to be fair to it that we're covering the stuff from Japan or New Japan of America shows, but this and his second one, you can't. It's hard to talk about this one without talking about the sequel, talking about number two. Like I kind of want to highlight both because like this was such a war. These two, Ospreay's face getting dropped onto the post off the top and bleeding, and then having the doctor check on him, and then him wanting to continue, and just this war that these two went through, and Omega just finally putting him down at the end with the one winged angel to take it, and it's just an incredible. And then to have that incredible of a match, and then run it back and almost maybe possibly do it better. I don't know. There's such a juggle between. There were like at some points this was my match of the year, then the other one was my match of the year. It's just hard to pick, and just this match was absolutely incredible. I think it's the dome that makes it that little bit more special. It was in the dome. It was Kenny coming back home to New Japan to unseat the man who essentially replaced him, the man who went into his best bout machine spot. Because Kenny was that guy that everybody wanted to could have that best match of the year with. And then Ospreay became that guy after. And this is Kenny coming home. It's like, I'm putting you down. And him taking the win. I was broken. I was sitting with Mel and I was broken when Kenny won. But it was and then thinking about later on in the day, I was like, that was amazing. Just amazing.
I mean, what else can you add to that? This was, a banger of a match. Worth staying up for, worth being tired for, worth a watch, worth everything. This was a great match. And like, I've been a little hard on Kenny Omega since he left NJPW. But, whenever they come back, it just seems to be really good. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's those little things that they do. Because, I'll admit, I've enjoyed Kenny in AEW, but he's not the same Kenny Omega that left in 2019. Like, he's not the same guy that he is then. But again, people evolve. But even by the end of 2019, early 2020, he was different. It wasn't quite the same. He didn't have that same luster. But like him coming back and just having that. And I know you're going to hate me bringing this name up, but Don Callis by his side, it helps, but it helps sell this match, or like having this match happen in such a way, and then for Callis to turn the other way and be on Ospreay's side by the sequel, it helps sell it in a certain way, and then put Kenny in this more. It helped put Kenny in the heel role, having Callis at his side. I know you hate him, but it's true.
Don Callis is useless. Empire has their dude with the mouth. That is Gideon Gray. They don't need that thing.
Again, it was just, I think, probably one of the perfect matches of the year. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to our best junior heavyweight wrestler from New Japan, Melball. She's picking TJP. Go ahead.
I mean, TJP. This guy has amazing matches. Doesn't matter who he's facing. He has amazing matches. He will force matches to be good if he needs to. There was one match that we saw on one of the North American shows. Do you remember which one it was where he struggled to make that guy look good because the guy was just not working with him?
I don't
TJP
remember.
worked so hard. The match was still really, really good, but he worked very, very hard to make it good. And you could tell how exhausted he was at the end of it.
Mystico. The OG Mystico.
Yes! Right, which is so weird because Mystico is usually, himself a sensation. He is in Mexico. Like, I do find that, like, certain wrestlers, when they go certain places, it's almost like they become a different version of themselves, which is fair, but, like, you were brought in initially because of the interest in what you were there. And, like, bring it with you, all of it. That's what we want to see. But yeah, TJP has just been this ever present, just so good wrestler that puts on banger matches, whether it's by himself, whether it's with Francesco Akira, whether it's with any combination of the United Empire. He is the glue that holds everything together. And like, especially this last Wrestle Kingdom, he really was the catalyst in that not only the match but the feud entirely. He controlled a lot of the end of that, and it just made it so damn good. Yeah, always an entertaining wrestler to watch with such a unique lucha kind of style background. His submissions also very impressive, so quick, very deceptively quick too. So smooth, so crisp with his in-ring work. I feel like it's just effortless for him. It's like a second nature thing to him. He was made to be in this business. What do you think of my choice, Andre?
Again, I look at TJP as this absolute journeyman, incredible professional wrestler. The guy's in his late 30s right now. And the guy's been around. He started. I think he's old, maybe a little, maybe in his 40s by now. I'm not actually sure. I actually have to look that up just for my brain.
I think he's younger than me. He just had his second, well, his wife had his second baby.
39. He's 39 years old. The guy's been around like since like he started training when he was like 14 or 15. I want to say. Like he was training at like he trained at Shawn Michaels Texas Wrestling Academy. This guy has been around forever. He was lived in his car for years. Like there's the stories about him living in his car, just trying to make it as a professional wrestler. Like he was a grinder, and he went everywhere. And now I think he's in that almost perfect spot for him because he's getting to show how good he is, and he's getting to elevate another person in Francesco Akira, and he's getting to elevate these guys in like the War Dogs in Yo and Leo, in all the teams that he's faced, like a Kevin Knight. Like he's helping to raise these guys up by wrestling them and raising Akira up by giving him every bit of knowledge that he has, and it's just awesome. We're gonna go to my pick, and Mel's gonna be probably a little surprised with this one. I'm gonna give the props to the champion of this year, Hiromu Takahashi. So I'll admit, start of the year, I didn't care about this man, and it was the best of the Super Juniors that really turned me around on him. But I have to give him props on this because like he won the title at Wrestle Kingdom, and he held it for a full calendar year and till the 2024. But like he beat Congo at that Wrestle Kingdom Night 2 thing like 2 weeks later in that LIJ versus he didn't beat Congo. He beat Hajime Ohara out from Congo. Like he had some great defenses of the title. He defended against Yo in there. He defended against Leo Rush it was in like March. Like he helped put together the both junior festivals that we saw this year. The one earlier in the year that was in Japan, and then that awesome one that gave us that cheesesteak match. And again, like I said, that my match of the year was him and Mike Bailey. I think those two were that's it. And then he challenged Sonata for the heavyweight title while being the junior champion. while I wasn't excited about that match was really good because it was two people. It's the same reason the way I talked about Naito, him and Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. It was that camaraderie. It's that familiarity. It's them being boys and knowing each other so well that they had an incredible match, man. And like, yes, he broke my heart by beating Watto at the Best of the Super Junior Finals, or not the finals at the Dominion right after the finals had happened. But again, I was already back on board with Hiromu. What did I say on the last show? Yes, I want him to head up to the heavyweight division because I want to see something new from this man. But he had an incredible year running the entire gambit, running 365 days as your IWGP champion. Yes, the first 3 days he didn't have the title, but like 23 he didn't have the title, but he did so much. He was part of Forbidden Door. He was part of so much that you can't like that cheesesteak was it Philly cheesesteak cup 3-way tag team ladder match is how it's listed on Cage Match, and it was such a fun time to see him there. He worked in CMLL this year, worked a few matches there, and then on top of it, he won the DDT Iron Metal. I gotta pull it up. The DDT Iron Metalweight Championship. Yeah, Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship or something like that. And it was this like 24/7 title that he just did all this crazy shit with, and I think raised his brain for me, especially at the end of the year, even more than it already had been. So like he just had a great year. Like it's everything he did and everything that he did to elevate other people and help other people and then do what he did with the junior festivals. I have to give him props for this year because I don't think a junior had a better year than this man.
Interesting. I was not expecting that. Interesting.
Yeah, you're the one that loves LIJ, so.
Yeah, I do love my some blah 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 English. I do love me some Lij, but they've had a bit of a quiet year.
Mm. I'm happy we could disagree on this one because the next one, it's our Stardom Wrestler of the Year, and it's a unanimous vote. It's Julia for me and Mel. It's Julia. I'm gonna let Mel talk first about Julia, and then I'll come in with mine.
Then you'll just drop all the other factoids. I mean, what's to say about Julia? She's had a hell of a year, whether she was holding a title or not. Starting the year losing that World of Stardom Championship, but did not hinder her growth this year at all. Picking up one of the Artists of Stardom Championships as well as the NJPW Strong Women's Championship along the way. She has been unquestionably dominant and taking those titles all over the world. By all over the world, I mean like here, but like it's not in Japan. So we're starting to see her a little bit more here. Obviously, I think it's prepping for bringing her over here, which sad that we're losing her, but I have hope, I have faith. Yeah, she again has not let the lack of titles in a little bit at the beginning of the year there slow her down. She's still pushed forward and was still on the talk of the town in Japanese wrestling until now. So yeah, Andre, take it away.
Yeah, she has had an incredible year. She started the year as the World of Stardom champion, having have that incredible defense against Suzuki in February, then losing the title to Tam, which I think was like, oh, okay, what the hell's going on here? And then recovering with that Artist of Stardom title win and having a great run with those artist titles throughout the year. And then winning that Strong Women's Championship from Willow Nightingale. Was it at the July 4th show or the 4th or 5th show, the New Japan? It was either on the 4th or the 5th. That was one of those Independence Day cards. She won it from Willow and has done a great job defending it. Went to Impact and defended it. Has defended it on the New Japan Strong shows. Again, and she's had that your match of the year against Bane. Had that incredible match there with Bane. Like she's had a stellar year with that title. It just I don't see anybody else making that case for me personally. Like I think Susan Suzuki had I have to shout out her for having such an incredible year, and where she went from the start of this year being part of just a part of prominence to making herself one of the top women in Stardom. Um, it's just, and then Micah having her rise, but hers was very much at the end of the year, where Julia, yeah, she was the top of the card at the start of the year, came off, but then rose back up and took a title and made it absolutely special. You know what I mean? Like like Willow being the first champion was absolutely awesome. While yes, it was due to other circumstances, it was awesome. But yeah, and then 8 defenses since she won it. Or sorry, 7 defenses, 8 matches overall. She had 7 defenses for the title since she won it in July. So yeah, and like she did in Stardom, on Impact, on Strong. It just incredible year, an incredible year. You got anything else? All right, we're gonna move on then to our best heavyweight rest of the year. My pick, I think, is fairly obvious, and it was a clean sweep. We both did it. It's Will Ospreay. He he was the main event of New Japan. I don't care what you say. Like personally, like I love this man. I think this guy's been incredible. I've been watching him for years and years and years and years and years. But he started that year with that incredible match, and then a month later took Taichi to a height, raised Taichi up, did so much great stuff. Went to the semifinals against Naito in the G1 this year, and like again had the second match with Kenny. Has had bangers throughout the year, and I'm very sad that he's not going to be in New Japan anymore, because I think this is the perfect place for this guy. He was so good here, but with how good he is and at his age, he needs to look at, and he has a family now. Like he has his wife and his stepkid, and you do what's right for your life. But man, he had just an incredible year that I don't think anybody else had like. I think certain people had bigger accolades in the year, but nobody had the amount of great matches and moments that this man did. Like All In, like again, I know it's not New Japan itself, but he went to All In. He did just so many big moments for the man this year, and I don't think there's anything like that anybody can say that didn't, like, you know what I mean? You've just had almost a perfect year.
I'd have to agree. I mean, what else can you say? He was so good this year. He was on top of everything. His social media, I mean, is just a treat. That this man can just rattle off a promo while he's renovating his kitchen. Like, there's no excuse. I don't want to hear no excuses. If this guy can do that, y'all can do something, anything. And that it probably gets like that he does do that and that it gets more views than most things on the internet is just outlandish. Yeah, I really do hope that when he does depart and head over here, that he is utilized in the way that he wants to be, and in the way that he needs to be based on what it is that he's capable of. Because this man still has a lot of crazy-ish, I think he needs to show us.
Yeah, again, I think he says so much more to do, and I look forward to seeing what else. Like I follow it in AEW. I try to watch as much as I can, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. But like, I'll admit, I have a slight disappointment that he didn't sign with WWE, and the fact that we're not getting him versus Rollins, like, because those two have been on each other for years on Twitter, going back and forth. If he had signed with the Fed to go and do that match, then you would have got him and Styles. You would have got him and Rollins. There's some incredible matches in the WWE you could have had, but there's I think a lot of really great matches he has ready for him in AEW, and he said he said he trusts Tony Khan and that he knows what he's getting into, and he's getting the opportunity to be like Pac, and he still gets to live in England with his family. Like, he doesn't have to uproot his family. If he went to WWE, he would have had to move to the US, where Khan's giving him the ability. So there's going to be times where we don't see Ospreay for a couple weeks. He won't be every single week. He better be in Canada. That's all I have to say. And that is, but yeah, I think this man had almost a perfect year in professional wrestling, and yeah, I can't ask for anything better. Like, he went around like he did, and he did a bunch of stuff over in England too, working for Progress, working for NJPW. Like, so it wasn't just New Japan and AEW. He did other things, and he was just great. Like, just a great year, man. I just read a match that I have to go watch, him versus Big Damo. Like, I have to go watch that match now from Rev Pro. Lots of great stuff, man, this man did this year, and I don't think anybody had the year he did. I don't care what promotion. I think he had the year, the rest of the year, I think, across the board, in my personal opinion.
Something you need to be prepared for is that he's made it very clear he doesn't like Canada. Don't think he's going to want to come.
Oh, he'll I think he'll come here just to sneeze on our flag again. What he did, where he put it up his nose. Oh yeah, no, he put it up his nose, Shawn Michaels style, I think is what he did. Oh, jeez,
Sir.
Yeah. Well, we have come to the end of our inaugural best of show for the best of 2023 Chop Talk. I hope y'all had a great time, because I know I had a great time here talking about it. And I don't know if Mel did, because I don't know.
What do you mean if I did? Of course I had a great time.
Okay, Mel had a great.
Into Tony Storm mode now. Now we're going to go timeless.
But since we have come to the other episode, you can find me on the X Mastodon Blue Sky and Hide at that Canada guy. TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at that Canada dude. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Andre Melball Wrestling Talk right here. You can find me on Facebook at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. Check us out there. You can also find us, not this show, but our New Japan and our Stardom coverage over at SundayNightsMainEvent.com or Patreon.com/SNME Radio. Our friends over at Sunday Nights Main Event, thank you so much for bringing us on board. We're bringing you all the biggest stuff from Japanese wrestling over there, so check us out. All of our big shows are going to be simulcasted there in audio form, so you don't have to watch this on video if you don't like the look of my face. I know everybody loves the look of Mel's face, but not mine. So... you can also find me over at twitch.tv/our local establishment, where you can find me talking about Marvel stuff. The Echo show has kind of been delayed. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, and we're recording this about 4 days after it come out. Life has been busy. I've been sick. I've been working. We're going to get an Echo review out to you at some point. We're going to have a Marvel Talk Rebound coming out at some point, talking the Incredible Hulk, and so much more from Marvel Talk coming out in the future. Please check that out. You can also go over to youtube.com/@Backbreaker Video to watch all the simulcasts of these shows over there. Thank our boy Mike the Ref for all his great support in simulcasting us and doing everything he does for us. Thank you so much, my friend. You can also check him out live at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref to see all his great gaming content and his AEW watch-alongs every Wednesday. And don't forget to check out the replays of his gaming content at youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming, where you can find replays of him, Mr. PJC, Mr. Rick Jules, and there for Rico and guests, Miss Kayla J.
Kayla J. Love Kayla J.
Yes, we do. Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow Melball, you can find her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can find her on everything else: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also catch me on our local establishments programming, where Ed and I also did an end of the year show with Lauren Goodnight and Mr. Bobby Money Munson. Where we got a whole bunch of different other wrestling perspectives, not just a few from here, but a few more different promotions there. So you want to go check that out. You can also catch me on Astrid Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase, where we showcase all of the ladies in professional wrestling. Astrid has also been terribly sick, like everyone else. So we have not chosen to go on air and make her feel worse. So we are hoping to have a show to you, hopefully in the next little while, before she goes to the Rumble. She's going to the WWE Rumble as one of the ladies in the reporter's booth. You're going to see her. She's like April O'Neil, but prettier. What else? If you're wanting to watch Stardom Wrestling, we will leave a link in the description box down below. It is stardom-world.com. It is $999. You can also get, Stardom World.com.
And New Japan World too, because we talked about it all
and
today.
New Japan too. 999 yen, or approximately 10 Canadian. Shout out Sam Spears. Are you okay over there?
It was the laugh. Oh man.
We won't do it again at risk of killing you. Where was I? 10 Canadian. Shout out Sean Spears. Still a great price to watch amazing wrestling. You can watch any of the things that we talked about today on both of those websites that Andre is flippy dippy dipping over there. Again, tremendous price for some amazing wrestling. Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to beautiful people?
Before I say anything, people also want to say something from our indie wrestling stuff. So we check out Love Wrestling and Top Talent over on YouTube, and Real Canadian Wrestling. Check them out on their YouTube pages, on their Facebook pages. Check them out too. I didn't have tickers for them, but check them out too. There's a lot of great independent professional wrestling going on over there. But we want to thank all of you for all the great support you've given us. Please keep liking the video, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below. Sharing us out to all your friends, family, and other people. If you're on, I guess you're not listening on Sunday's main event, but also please keep hitting that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
I'm definitely not answering the door at this time of night, and it's also very cold. I'm not letting the heat out.
Good choice. Good choice.
You can freeze out there.
And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.